Rick Astley.
Rick
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Astley for president, guys. So yeah, a little under the weather because I ate a little bit too much today and diabetes, yada yada yada. But rolling on live on YouTube and
Can't
all the
boast.
channels.
Yes.
Against the Woke, which is Walk Woke, Mr. Midnight Movie, those two, along with this one that you're, along with this YouTube channel, which is uh, Transparency
Transparency.
and Merit, and the Twitter handle Transparency and Merit as well. So yeah, I was listening a little bit. And I sent a link to you. It's a 4-hour show on Sam Vaknin, and it's about victimhood and how that has been given currency, and that kind of has made people kind of seek out victimhood, not real victimhood, but kind of fake, phony victimhood because it's a form of it's become kind of a form of currency.
Right.
And do you see that in your daily life, Joey, or not?
Hmm. I don't know. Maybe I need some more examples.
Uh, you know what? If I didn't have 3 tacos, a cheeseburger, and a chicken
Whoa.
potato, yeah, I mean, but I'd fast until about 5.
Did you have any salsa with that?
Yes, and now I'm completely full and still a bit
I made it.
constipated.
Well, we got people joining us. They're here. They're listening. I made it. I made a tri-tip, and it was unbelievable. I got some seasoning when I was in New Mexico 2 weeks ago, and it turned out so good.
Now, I just wanted to mention that we will be doing a show tomorrow around 7:30.
That's
Uh,
right.
yeah,
We're gonna do. We're gonna. It's a movie show. We're gonna be talking about movies.
yeah, and it's basically the movies 78 to 1980, how Hollywood dealt with Star Wars, because you notice that after Star Wars came out, a boatload of sci-fi fantasy adventures came out. Some were good, most were awful, but we're going to talk about all of them and how sometimes Hollywood overcompensates when something makes a ton of money. Of course, they want some of that Sacagawea, and
What's
sometimes
crazy? What's crazy is they laid that movie on us, and we're getting also some other culturally phenomenal movies um, during that period. So I wonder what the like Rocky, for example, seemed to in my mind it would attract different types of audiences, but I loved both. I was into both of those, and it was crazy. Those movies were so big, but also being given to us around the same time. Now it's few and far between you get two really good movies laid on you. Then you had several. That's just two of them. There were several others.
well, Jaws. I mean, Jaws was the first one to do it, like with the blockbuster, and then after Jaws, Star Wars, and there were a lot of Jaws ripoffs too.
Well,
And
I
of
thought
course,
Indiana Jones was the first blockbuster. Is that not right?
Indiana Jones is the second Indiana Jones film, The Temple of Doom, is the reason we have PG-13, and that was Steven Spielberg's suggestion. I used to think that the first PG film was John Wayne's The Cowboys, but I was mistaken because in the history of PG too is is kind of interesting. From my understanding, it used to be G, mature, R, and X, and then it went to GP, and then it went to PG. And I think that the Cowboys was John Wayne's first PG film, because a lot of his stuff was just G. Even some of the violent films like Big Jake, which they made more violent as a response to the films that were coming out. And then, the Cowboys was. Did you ever see the Cowboys, Joey? You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute again. The hell's wrong with you? What are you smoking?
I don't know why it's. All right, it's on. It's not on now though. Yeah, like I said, I didn't see the Cowboys. But what was interesting about PG-13 is that's another thing that amazingly I clearly remember, because in 1984, when PG-13 became a thing, I was 12 years old. And I thought it was so strange, like that all of a sudden there were movies I wanted to see that I had been seeing that I wasn't technically supposed to go see now. It was weird.
Yeah, I mean, and and there were only so many times you could say the F word in a PG film, and then, I mean, two genres, by the way, came out in '77. One was sci-fi, which was more fantasy sci-fi, Star Wars, and then Saturday Night Fever also kind of brought the disco craze. And they didn't. I don't know if they made as many of them, but they are as many that were significant. I remember. Now, do you remember Saturday Night Fever, Joey? Did you see that?
Oh yeah, yeah. In fact, I thought that movie had such a vibe to it. It was another movie I remember seeing on the On channel, and I don't know what it was about that period. God, that was where I was kind of exposed to some really awesome movies, but also like this sort of vibe that it had, that I cannot explain. But it's when I think about those certain movies, and that's one of them that I saw right in that window of time.
Yeah. But I remember when that came out. After that, that they had thank God it's right now. World War III is here because Iran. I don't know if you know this or not, Joey, but Iran has attacked Israel. Did you hear about this?
I did. I did. Um, but this is interesting. Just yesterday, and I don't know if I had actually said it to you, but I had a conversation yesterday, and it had to do with this weekend, that there would probably be a massive um, false flag event, and I'm not saying that this was or this wasn't, but it just seems to fit the narrative. I'm not making this up; it's a true story, and it's weirder than life itself. But
April 13th, the day that will live in infamy. Okay, you know what? All I know is they're deflecting their bombs. They're not going through. They have the Iron Shield, from my understanding, and I hope they have the Iron Shield. I hope they have the. Listen, I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
it's just interesting that these things. It was predictable that this was going to happen when the markets were closed. All of these strikes, you'll notice, everything that's happened in Israel, it's always when the market is closed. So
You might be right.
I
By
mean,
the
to
way,
the point that it's predictable.
again, I'm more excited for because this is the show that we're going to be dealing with deals with a galactic war in the cinema and how Hollywood basically handled that war, and they made a lot of cheap knockoffs. They brought things back. Remember Flash Gordon, Joey? Was that 80 or 81?
I love that movie. I saw it. I saw that and Excalibur and Flash Gordon. I saw. I don't know if it was together. I saw a lot of double. You know what I mean? I saw multiple movies in a
Now,
day
now,
sometimes.
now, what did you like better, Flash Gordon or I remember Flash Gordon too. I saw that on video.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon and the Cosmic Cheerleaders is a little bit more raunchy. But Joey, do you remember now? What did you like better, Flash Gordon or Excalibur when you were a kid, like when you saw
Oh,
both?
definitely Flash Gordon. And it had the great song. Queen, I think, did the song. It was so
Oh yeah,
like that
but
was
yeah,
another.
I loved Excalibur.
But Excalibur was great. Oh
I
yeah.
think I think that Excalibur is the best King Arthur movie ever. And didn't the same guy who make Fame? Now, do you remember Fame?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now, did you see that on the screen, or was that on the on channel too?
Fame. I'm almost positive I went to a theater for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was. And then they
I
did the
love.
sequel, which was they actually made it PG and was far less grimy. Who's this
Oh,
schmuck? Coming on, Art? Coming on the show.
it's Mr. Midnight Butthead, I guess.
Uh,
Oh, we hung up.
they hung up.
Oh man, call back in.
How about Flesh Gordon, Joey? Did you see that one? Oh, we
Yeah.
already talked about that. But yeah, I mean, I don't
Until
know.
until recently, I actually had a copy of that. I recently sold it, maybe a
It,
year or two ago.
they actually re-released it, um,
Yeah.
and I remember I laughed. It wasn't as funny as Kentucky Fried Movie. Do you remember that movie, Joey? Kentucky Fried Movie.
I sure do. Yeah, I love movies with vignettes.
Oh,
What about The Jerk? That was another movie that came
I
around
like
that time.
that too. I
Awesome.
There was a little movie called it was either 78 or 79 called Movie, and it dealt with the classic double feature. The first one was a boxing film. The second one was a musical.
Double feature was what I was thinking of. You got it.
It was called Movie, but yeah, yeah. And then there was the Long Riders came out. I think it was 79 or 80 that the Long Riders came out. Did you see that on the big screen or no?
No, I don't even know if I've seen that. The
How
Long
about,
Rider.
how about Southern Comfort?
Saw that. I saw that was an on-channel movie.
Now, have you seen? The Swimmer is free on YouTube, and I only saw bits and pieces of it years ago. But I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
I really enjoyed it, kind of like a Twilight Zone.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Swimmers.
The Swimmer with what's his face with
With what's
with God, I can't even remember it. My diabetes is getting to me, and I gotta drain this stuff. So God, Burt Lancaster.
How could you forget Burt Lancaster?
Did you
The
ever
mo-
see Atlantic City, Joey?
Burt Lancaster is the greatest overactor of all time.
Oh, he is. He is. He is. Did you ever
I'm
see?
sorry.
Did you ever
What was
see?
that?
Did you ever see Atlantic City, Joey?
Ooh, I'm pretty sure I did. I can't remember it at all though.
Yeah. There's another. So many films that I remember him in. The Professionals.
But yeah, tomorrow night we're gonna do. Tomorrow night,
Yeah, we're gonna
like
do it's
movies and not.
yeah.
And now I'm gonna go off on some tangents tomorrow, Brian.
This is gonna be Hollywood, Star Wars, Hollywood's response to Star Wars, 1978 to 1980. Might even do a few films in 1981, but primarily 1978 to 1980. The first film that dealt with that was kind of almost got mainstream was Star Crash. And Joey, that film was a piece of caca.
That was a horrible film.
Yeah. I think my brother and I walked out of it.
Uh, what did you think of? Oh, what was his name? Carpenter. Escape from New York.
I didn't like it when I first saw it, but I've grown to like it. And that was in '81, though.
True.
And that kind of spawned. I mean, when they did the Mad Max Road Warrior films, they did a lot of takeoffs on that because they were low budget and cheap.
Yeah.
And like I said, when Dirty Harry came out, they did a lot of just a lot of knockoffs. And
Well, for me, Escape from New York was like when the '80s was like in full effect. It was clearly the '80s, and that really defined it for me. Even though there was probably, there was definitely stuff way prior to it, maybe, but that was like prime '80s time, like the look, the feel, the plasticity, but then this sort of other thing coming in. I don't know.
to me, Escape from New York was more of a 1970s sci-fi film
Mhm.
than the classic '80s, which basically kind of Disneyfied, and it kind of what Spielberg and Lucas did was they got the B movie, the B serial movie, and they made that mainstream. Because I think the comic book films come out of the Spielberg and tradition, and now they have these these superhero movies where every superhero has a complex problem and this and that. So we'll
Ready
get into that.
Player Ready Player One was a game changer. Um, the book was, I think, gave a pretty good description of it, but the movie was the visual of all the cartoon characters from all the different big outfits, and they're all together in one sort of like ballroom scene, and you're just like, wait, how could that happen? And just makes you think, oh, okay, so like everyone, it's just like one big company now.
I was gonna. I almost forgot my own train of thought. Um, what did you think of the movie Fight Club?
God, I kind of liked it a lot, but then part of when I saw it again, I didn't like it as much.
Yeah. Sometimes the films you like, it's like the girl you used to like, and then she's not what you really think she was.
Yeah.
Though Chuck Palahniuk, I think I texted it to you. He talked about his father's death before he was born. Um, because I think his father. He was born out of an affair, and it was either the ex-husband or an ex-boyfriend that went and shot his father,
Oh
and he
wow.
burned the house to the ground. And yeah, it's an interesting story. But anyway, you know what? I want to get to bed. I want to go to the bathroom and get to Betty Boo.
Yeah,
Is there
yeah, me too.
anything to add before we end this puppy? And then
Well,
It's
we're gonna have we are gonna have a trailer for our upcoming project. I don't know
yeah.
when we're gonna reveal. No timeline on when we'll reveal it, but
We
the
are
trailer
having
is done. So
there is a song. We have a new song coming out, and we will be playing it. Hopefully, everyone enjoys it. If you don't, you really don't have any musical taste. You
right,
probably know your farts and love them. All right, Joey, let's call it a night. I got to get to bed, so let's call the show up, and because I gotta get to Betty Boo.
yeah.
Boop.
All right, we're
Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below.